Hi everyone and welcome to my series Let's Talk Over Coffee over my channel Right Noises. Please do comment, like and subscribe my channel. The story of coffee includes many twists and turns. Green coffee was smuggled across the ocean, presented to kings, carried along the ancient spice routes on the land and sea and banned by government and clergies. Grab your cup and let's fly in to the history of coffee. The history of coffee starts from Ethiopia and dated back to 9th century AD. But some scholars date it back to 2nd century BC. But we have the credible evidences of coffee consumption from 15th century AD onwards. Coffee was first exported out of Ethiopia to Yemen by Somali merchants from Berbera, Mocha, which was the center of coffee trade, where Yemeni traders later brought the coffee plant to their homes and began to cultivate it there. Due to coffee's growing popularity and the shipment of coffee from the port city, Mocha became synonym with coffee. Coffee is thought to have spread from Ethiopia to Egypt and Yemen, where it was first roasted, and then by the 16th century it spread throughout the Middle East, Turkey, Persia, and into northern Africa. Later, coffee spread from the Muslim regions to Italy and then very quickly throughout Europe. The Dutch then brought coffee to the East Indies and the Americas. Around the 13th century, coffee spread to the Islamic world, where it was revered as a potent medicine and a powerful prayer aid. It was boiled much like medicinal herbal decoctions are boiled for intensity and strength. During the initial period, coffee was known as wine of Araby. The beverage started to become a little too popular as coffee houses started to open up all around Arabia. These coffee houses were known as School of the Wise, where people come, debate, and exchange their thoughts. However, in the early 15th century, the governor of Mecca declared coffee to be forbidden. Fearing its influence promoted energized discussions and the debate that could lead to opposition to his rule. Similar thing happened in Cairo, Egypt and Ethiopia also. But it created unrest in the people. Riots broke out in the streets of Arab. And just when it appears a coffee revolution could erupt, the Sultan of Cairo intervenes. And then the Sultan of Cairo revokes the prohibition. All of these bans were eventually lifted, bringing peace to the land. From the Middle East, coffee drinking spread to Venice, Italy, then to the rest of Europe. Coffee began to replace the most common breakfast drink beverage of the time, beer and wine. Those who drank coffee instead of alcohol began the day alert and energized. And not surprisingly, the quality of their work was greatly improved. At first, the beverage was sold on the streets by lemonade vendors, but in 1645, the first coffee house was opened in Italy. Coffee houses were the places you went to share and hear information. They became the epicenter of social activity. Unlike Arab, some people reacted to this new beverage with suspicion or fear, calling it the bitter invention of Satan. The local clergy condemned coffee when it came to Venice in 1615. The controversy was so great that Pope Clement VIII was asked to intervene. He decided to taste the beverage for himself before making a decision and found the drink so satisfying that he gave it papal approval and baptized the drink. Despite such controversies, coffee houses were becoming center of social activities and communication in the major cities of England, Austria, France, Germany and Holland. In England, penny universities sprang up, so called because for the price of penny one could purchase a cup of coffee and engage in stimulating conversations. The coffee plant completed its journey around the world when it was introduced into Kenya and Tanzania just south of the original birthplace Ethiopia at the end of 18th century. In brief, coffee spreads from Ethiopia to Yemen and later to India and Java island of Indonesia. Colonial rule make it spread to Europe, which paved the way for Central and South America. Coffee has reached first to Brazil in Central America and then to other countries. By 19th century beginning, in Germany, afternoon coffee was a daily ritual. There is a revolutionary development in the coffee brewing and mass production technology during 19th century. In 1905, the first commercial espresso machine was manufactured in Italy. The first mass production instant coffee was invented by George Constant Washington, and many more inventions were also there by different people. Let's sail on the ripple of time and revive some ads and stills of the journey of coffee. It's hand colored copper engraving of the coffee tree from 1750. It's another hand colored engraving from Harper's Weekly named Coffee Picking in Costa Rica. An advertisement for Maxwell House Coffee featured in the Ladies' Home Journal from 1926. It's an old advertisement for Monarch Coffee in color from 1926. An advertisement for Borden's Instant Coffee and Borden's Evaporated Milk from 1949. An ad for Sanka Instant Coffee from 1947. Another advertisement for Hill Brothers Coffee. Today, coffee is the world's most popular beverage. More than 400 billion cups are consumed every year. It is the world's largest commodity, second only to oil. Do you know which country produces best quality coffee? Which one to choose from? Colombian, Brazilian, Guatemala? What is parchment and natural coffees? Stay tuned for my next videos and please do subscribe.